You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo!
You are tuned into the best, G5 Jeff TV. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button as you come on in. Big shout out to the sponsors of the channel. My boy Fast Classic. His mixtape is in the description box. It is absolutely free. Definitely give him a download, give him a listen. And my boy Matt. Definitely check his apparel out on IG at We All From. Now, Triple G got a very close, unanimous decision over Sergey Derevianchenko. Highly competitive fight. A lot of people felt like Sergey Derevianchenko won that fight. I had it 6-6. Triple G got the knockdown. I had Triple G by a point. Unpopular decision, in opinion, as far as my scorecard is concerned. But I could have easily had it for Sergey Derevianchenko in that fight. When I actually went back and watched the fight, I actually scored it for Derevianchenko by a round. But it was one of those type of fights where you can go back and rewind that fight and watch it 2-3 times. You might come up with a different scorecard every single time that you watch that fight. But this is the thing that I found extremely funny, curious. When you're dealing with a champion in boxing, they never want to face their mandatory. Like, usually the mandatory is somebody that the champion is not interested in fighting, or the mandatory is so dangerous that they don't want to fight them. But either way, a lot of times the champions, they'll avoid their mandatory at all costs. So they'll try to push it off as much as possible. But this is the first time I've ever heard of a champion actually scheduling and negotiating for their mandatory in advance, like prior to a big fight. That's exactly what Triple G has done. He has actually negotiated a fight with his mandatory, Kamil Szeremeta, prior to the Derevianchenko fight. I just found it very alarming. Champions usually avoid their mandatory. But I just never seen a champion negotiate a fight with their mandatory in advance. It's just very curious to me. Now, Triple G didn't want to fight Sergey Derevianchenko in the past. That's facts. He fought Sergey Derevianchenko because he had to fight Sergey Derevianchenko because there was a belt on the line. If he don't have no belt, then there's no appeal for a third fight for Canelo Alvarez. And like I said before, Triple G looking the way he did against Sergey Derevianchenko, that was the best thing that could have happened to him, because now that has Canelo Alvarez interested in the trilogy, because now Canelo Alvarez thinks Triple G is getting old and he's washed up, and he'll have an easier time with him than he did in his first 2 fights. But I just don't see the logic behind negotiating to get your mandatory into the ring ahead of time. Like, I don't get that. Now, Kamil Szeremeta was on the undercard for Triple G, Sergey Derevianchenko, so they're promoting it the right way. Like, when you want a guy to fight the main event guy, like, you put him on the undercard. Like they did that with Canelo Alvarez for years, putting him on Floyd Mayweather's undercards, so before they fought. So I get it from a promotional standpoint. You want to make that person familiar with the same crowd that's watching the main event guy. Basic boxing promoting 101. But going forward, I wonder if Triple G and his team knew that they were going to have some trouble with Sergey Derevianchenko, and they wanted to lock down that mandatory fight right after so they can kind of free his schedule up, so he'll be available for a Canelo Alvarez, possibly Cinco de Mayo next year. I could definitely see that happening, but Triple G will have to get this mandatory out of the way by at least, I would say, probably January. That'll give him a full 4 months before Cinco de Mayo. Knowing Triple G and his team, they might try to get this. They might try to get this mandatory out the way by like December. You know what I mean? Like the end of December before the year out, so they can clear themselves for a possible trilogy with Canelo Alvarez. And the only thing that can hold Triple G back from a Canelo Alvarez fight outside of just a flat out loss is him having to fight as mandatory. And usually they'll say, oh, well, it has to be negotiated within the next 30 days or 60 days or something like that. So I understand it from that aspect, trying to clear the schedule out for a Canelo trilogy. I just never seen a champion negotiate an actual contract with their mandatory in advance, because normal circumstances, the champion is trying to either push the mandatory back, pay step aside money to not fight them at all, or they're just not interested in fighting the mandatory. I mean, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm overlooking this situation or thinking too much into it. I just think it's weird. I think it's weird. And I think if other champions were looking forward to fighting their mandatory that wasn't well known, I think they would get criticized for it. And for some reason, Triple G is able to do this, and nobody's talked about it at all. I haven't heard anybody talk about this outside of myself, but hey, that's why I'm here. I bring up things that the normal boxing channel does not bring up. And that's what makes G5 Jeff TV G5 Jeff TV. Now y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. G5 Jeff TV, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Please share this video, support your boy, support good content at all times. I appreciate y'all. Peace.